So China is conducting military exercises around Taiwan, and they're known as Joint Sword 2024. And Beijing describes them as a strong punishment to Taiwan's new president, Lai Ching-te, who was inaugurated on May 20th of this year. And these exercises, which commenced on May 22nd, 2 days after the inauguration, are set to last for 2 days. Potentially, they could extend. We've seen China extend their exercises, but for now, they're scheduled for 2 days and involve multiple branches of the Chinese military, including the Army, Navy, Air Force, and their rocket forces. Now, these exercises are the largest since, Joint Sword 2023, which were actually pre-planned, but are being heralded by many pro-Chinese Communist Party shills as a precursor for an invasion. Interestingly, this exercise is called Joint Sword 2024 Alpha, which means there could be Joint Sword 2024 Bravo, likely already being planned and will revolve around the Chinese Communist Party getting pissy about something Taiwan does. Now, according to China's Ministry of National Defense, the exercises are a direct response to what they perceive as quote-unquote separatist acts by Taiwan and are meant to serve as a warning against interference by external forces. What they really are referring to is the election of Lai Ching-te, which I just spoke about, who has been very vocal about Taiwan's sovereignty. Now, these Chinese drills involve a range of activities like land strikes, sea assaults, and joint operations between air, land, and sea forces with the aim of testing the troops' joint combat capability and countering what China is calling collusive and provocative acts by Taiwan and its supporters. So let's take a look at the map. So looking at the map here, you can kind of see how this is playing out. China launched a simulated blockade. There are several zones in yellow here that China is using for areas where they are conducting exercises. Interestingly, these blue squares are Taiwan air bases and naval bases. 49 separate aircraft were detected by Taiwanese radar, 35 of which entered Taiwan's air defense identification zone, which runs roughly in this region right here. China used 19 Navy warships and 16 Coast Guard vessels, which honestly for an island the size of Taiwan is not enough to execute a true blockade, but again, this is an exercise. Now, in response to these exercises, Taiwan has not been sitting on its hands. It has taken defensive measures, including scrambling jets and putting missile and naval land units on alert. Here we can see Taiwan has deployed its Xiangfang anti-ship missiles along the outskirts of a beach in a parking lot. Again, this is an exercise for them too. And Taiwan is not holding back on the videos they are showing. This is a video of the Taiwanese deploying the Tiankung 3. This is an air defense missile. Interestingly, in a move that we actually haven't seen really ever, the Taiwanese are shadowing the Chinese Navy in international waters, which is frustrating Beijing because the Taiwanese generally have not done that. The traditional approach from Taiwan has been to somewhat ignore China's exercises. Well, now Taiwan is taking it as a learning opportunity and basically following the Chinese Navy and Chinese Coast Guard vessels as they conduct these exercises around the island of Taiwan. So taking a look at this shipping map, you can see some real-time movements here. And this tells me that shipping is largely unhindered moving through the Taiwan Strait. Some of these are reporting just a few minutes ago, as you can see. And honestly, the United States continues its freedom of navigation operations with a U.S. destroyer moving through the Taiwan Strait earlier this month, much to the angst of China. Regardless, one thing to be aware of is that this island, Kinmen Island, that sits right off of the coast of China, is actually owned by Taiwan. This is Taiwanese territory. So were there to be some sort of military operation by China, this island would be the first to go. And this essentially would be the canary in the coal mine, so to speak, if China were serious about moving on Taiwan.